Hello and welcome back to Animate. In the previous video I created a robot and put different parts of the robot on different layers. Now I'm going to do some animation to that robot. But the first thing I want to do is take my robot body and I'm just going to go ahead and make that into a symbol too. So I select a line to select everything because this actually has a couple different parts. And then I go Modify, Convert to Symbol. I'm going to call it Robot Body. And then it appears in the library. I know it's a symbol. I can always double click it if I want to edit it to make any changes. So notice robot body inside of scene 1. Okay, so now first of all, I need to, on my timeline, I need to give myself some time. I'm going to make this scene maybe about 8 seconds long. So I'm going to go to about the 8-second point here in the timeline. I'm going to click on the top layer, and I'm going to go down here. And I'm going to hold down the Shift key and then click on the bottom layer. So notice that I've selected every layer from top to bottom at that same point in time. If I right click, I can get Insert Frame. Notice it's also the F5 key. And what that does is it just extends the timeline for those 8 seconds. So nothing is moving, but everything is those 8 seconds long. Okay. Now, before I start animating my robot, I kind of want to make sure that if I move the robot body, that other parts of the robot are going to move too. So I'm going to parent those things all together. That's what it's called. So I have this little button here that opens up the parenting column, and I just want to connect everything with the robot body. So if I keyframe to move the robot body, everything else is going to move. So I'm going to just drag from the robot arm, so I'm just clicking on the mouse and dragging up to connect those layers. I'm going to go from here, the layer above robot body, connect that. This one, I'm going to connect it with robot body, and so I have the all of my layers now from the head, both of the arms are connected with the body. So now if I click on the body layer and move it, it's going to move everything with it. Okay. So I'm going to start out with my robot kind of on the side here, and about a little more than a second in, I'm going to click here and insert a keyframe. So inserting a keyframe is going to take one of those frames, but turn it into that black dot. A keyframe allows me to change something. So now I'm going to move my robot over here. And so right now, notice that the robot's just kind of jumping from one point to the next. And that's fine. But what I want it to do is smoothly move from one keyframe to the next. If I right-click or control-click on a map in this area between those two keyframes, I'm going to create a classic tween there. So what that classic tween does is it adds tweens to move my symbol, so this layer, which is also a symbol, from one keyframe to the next. So I'm going to hit the Enter key or the play button up here and see my animation there. Okay. Let's say that while I'm moving, maybe my head tilts just a little bit. So notice that this is a smooth movement here, but with the head, maybe I want it to go without the tweens. So I'm just going to right-click here, and I'm going to insert a keyframe, and then I'm just going to tilt my head just a little bit down like that as my robot moves along. And then when he gets back here, I'm going to add another keyframe and tilt my head back up. So notice we have keyframes and not blank keyframes. What that does is gets rid of things. So then the head disappears. I have to go up to my keyframe, and I'm going to clear that keyframe to get rid of that blank keyframe. Okay, so I got some head nodding going on as the robot moves along the kind of, we don't see its feet, so it's maybe some kind of roller thing that moves it forward. When it gets to this point, I want it to move up the right arm. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to now add a keyframe. So I want it to start moving. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit there. I'm going to do this without tweens because it's a robot, so it's going to kind of do the robot as it moves its arms up. It's going to go up, and then maybe just a little bit back. So I'm just inserting keyframes, putting it like that. So you're going to see the robot do some arm movement as it moves forward. So I can keep on doing that for things I need in my scene, just basically rotating things. I got everything all rigged perfectly in that earlier video. Some things I can put in tweens for a nice smooth movement just by right-clicking in between to add that classic tween. Other things I'm just going to add keyframes and then rotate it, move it a little bit each time. So maybe I'll just add one more, tilt the head back down if that arm is up. Okay. So I've done some animation with my robot. In the next video, I'm going to make my robot's eyes blink.